Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Mark and Smark Connection podcast. I am your host, Jesse Disbro, the Smark, and along with me is the Mark, Matt Cooper.
Hello, everybody.
Yep, that's him.
Happy 20 days to Christmas.
Happy some days till Christmas, or 362 days till Christmas, depending on when you hear this. You never know.
Yeah.
If we put AEW in the headline, someone might look at this 4 weeks from now because that's what people are doing. Thank you for listening to our podcast. They are still getting some listens and views, even some that are 2-3 weeks old. Most of them though are the ones they're talking about AEW. So obviously we have to talk a lot more about AEW, Matt. So what do we
Yeah.
have? What do we have on the docket for AEW this week?
I don't know. AEW, boy, some stuff happened at AEW, didn't it?
Woo-ha, didn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
boy. Well, we'll talk about that, and we'll also talk about some of the other things that we want to talk about this week. Generally, we'll follow our plan here, our script. We're not going off the script, bro. We're going to have the Mark's Remarks to start us off. We're going to have some big, meaty topics in the middle, and we'll close out with our hot tag, hot take, and finisher as we roll on home. So, Matthias, why don't you lead us off with that thing you do?
Yep. So we begin the show with a segment we call Marking Out. It's where I, the Mark, pick something, just one thing that happened during the week, and I mark out about it across all the promotions we cover, which is generally just WWE and AEW. And this week, the biggest markiest news seemed to be that John Morrison is coming back to the WWE. Yay!
Yeah.
Now, I saw a picture of this guy, and get a load of him.
Yes.
He looks
has
like
a
something.
singular style that both like the look and also his wrestling style. He's I'm not sure if it's a pro parkour person.
Okay.
I think if there's such a thing, that's what he was. So he put a lot of parkour into his wrestling. There's a lot of flippy stuff. I think Lucha Underground is still available on Netflix. They may have taken it off. But if you get a chance, you can watch Lucha Underground, the first season, on Netflix, and you'll get to see a lot of his cool flippy stuff and kind of the character that he's evolved into once he left. He left WWE. He was an Intercontinental Champion. That was the kind of the height. Multiple time tag champion.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun. We'll see where he goes. We've had a lot of prodigal son types return, but for every I don't know how many of them have actually climbed to the upper echelons. We've had like Drew McIntyre came back, but like what has he done since he's come back? Tag team champion, NXT champion. That's about it.
That's a good observation. So, how do you feel about this? Are you excited?
Oh, I love John Morrison, aka Johnny Mundo in Lucha Underground, aka Johnny Impact in Impact Wrestling, and Johnny whatever this promotion's name is, wherever he was wrestling. John Morrison is his name, but his real name, which is what he would wrestle under without the other monikers, was John Hennigan. And he also tried to become a movie star. He self-funded a movie, and it was, well, he's not a movie star.
Okay.
I think we can leave it at that.
It's a very diplomatic way of putting all that.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think I'm excited. I'm looking forward to seeing him. We'll see where he goes. Whether he goes to NXT, whether he goes right to WWE. I think that you don't have to have people like Drew McIntyre or Robert Roode or all those guys go to NXT first now. I think with the current way it's built, I think if people are going to NXT, they just should go right to NXT.
Where do you think they're going to stick him?
I think they'll stick him right on the main show. Maybe on a SmackDown, I think. But I think he'll go right to the main show. We'll see whether he actually gets booked into anything. We'll find out.
Okay, cool. Well, a new guy. I hope he doesn't get lost in the shuffle like many before him.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, and it's not like there's not people there. Uh,
Yeah.
so here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and give you the Smarks remarks. We'll just recap what happened. Anything terribly important that happened in the previous weeks?
I'll make sure to gasp.
Yes, gasp.
Yes.
Roman Reigns was covered in dog food. Yeah,
What? Dog food?
yeah. Apparently, his feud with King Corbin led
Uh-huh.
to a dog food bath at the end of the match. Yeah.
A+ television right there.
Woo! Yeah. Well, I mean, you know,
Was it the good stuff or was it like cheap dog food?
no, it was canned. It was canned wet dog food.
Canned wet dog. I mean, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it's not
there's
like
like
they pelted him with like kibbles and bits.
that would not nearly have had the effect of making it look like somebody had taken a shit on Roman
Right.
Reigns
Or
or
vomited
puked
on
on
him.
him.
Yeah, yuck.
Yeah. I
Yuck.
saw a picture of that earlier in the week and I was like, "Oh god, there's probably an explanation for that." And then I didn't search for the explanation. I just I turned away from it. So,
Yeah, I was like, all right, no, I'm good, thank you.
I
Uh,
mean, I I I got to say I super don't care about whatever Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin are doing. That seems like I like Baron Corbin, but this seems to be like a clash of the least interesting titans,
right.
and
For
everybody's sort of
the general human universe,
yeah.
the people who are for the most vanilla of marks, it's
Hmm.
probably fine. People are like, yeah, all right, cool. You have become French vanilla, Mark.
French vanilla. Okay, I'm slightly fancier.
Yes, you're slightly fancier now.
I'd like
Uh,
to think that they're just doing this as something to hold over until after TLC,
yes,
and then we
the
can.
December tends to be an autopilot kind of month.
Mhm.
The fact that TLC is what 2 weeks away, and on Friday we got the first matches announced.
What match did they announce for TLC?
Three of them. We'll talk about TLC in the big meatiness in the middle.
Okay.
A match that has not gotten set up yet is Seth Rollins versus maybe Kevin Owens. They
Oh, that'll be
kind of
fun.
walked Seth Rollins back a little bit. Right now, it looks like AOP is working by themselves and not with Seth Rollins. Um, but
Okay.
Kevin Owens, because they attacked Kevin Owens and they didn't attack Seth Rollins, but Seth Rollins was all like, he was ready to fight and he was all like, what, why not? Why didn't you attack me? So it's either a clever ruse or Seth Rollins is actually still he just got heated as he is wont to do if you've ever followed his Twitter feed.
Mhm.
Let's see there was a title change on Raw.
Oh, great. I'm gonna guess. Wait, it's not 24/7 title, is
It
it?
was the 24/7 title, and
Okay,
you will
good.
never guess the winner of it.
The referee himself.
No, NASCAR champion Kyle Busch.
Oh, hey, great. Kyle Busch. He's a pretty okay big name, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's I
Oh, okay.
mean, out of all, it's better than Michael from Corporate or whoever that was that won the title for a week or
You
for
mean
a
in the
day.
Fox broadcasting or whatever?
No, actually at the corporate WWE corporate offices.
Oh, Mike from corporate.
Yeah,
Oh,
my
okay.
he's some random guy who that only had first name, no last name.
Well, you know what? The WWE has long sort of been founded on celebrity, so it
Hmm.
doesn't bother me if they throw the 24/7 title at a celebrity for like a week
No,
or
I
a
mean,
day
yeah,
or a
and
show.
generally
It's
it's a
fine.
show because they don't want to come back to another show or
Yeah.
whatever.
And can you
Um,
imagine if they had like Kyle Busch in an actual championship match and he won like the Universal title?
yeah, no,
Boy, that'd be stupid.
yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe eventually he'll end up coming back to wrestling and earning his keep by having like death matches.
We're
Um,
talking about David
we
Arquette
are talking about David Arquette
and
and
his
his
quest to atone for all
quote
of that
unquote
by going and
redemption.
getting murdered in
Right.
CW,
I mean,
CZW or whatever.
he's a decent worker now, so I mean,
Okay.
it's not a complete punchline. It's just more of a why did you do that now?
Yeah, and for the record, and I've said it before, probably the least of the blame should be laid at David Arquette's feet
Hmm.
for him having that title in WCW. So,
Right. Well, I mean, some people are just so angry because it didn't like it was supposed to be a tie-in to the Ready to Rumble movie, but like almost nothing was the same as the Ready to Rumble movie. Like David Arquette won the title and then immediately became a heel, where he's a baby face in the movie.
Oh yeah,
So it
so
was just
it wasn't even cohesive marketing.
no, it wasn't. It was just like, oh, David Arquette, the star from that movie, was in the match, and then
And, you know,
I think they did the match from the movie, and then that's it. I think that was
they had
all
they
that
had
happened.
they had problems with that in other ways too. They had Chucky at some point come out to cross promote.
Oh right,
Yeah, and
and it was you could tell like they were talking. He was not. It was all pre-recorded,
uh
and I think somebody messed up a cue or something. I don't remember exactly what
yeah.
happened there.
Yeah, the WWE promotes their movies a lot better now by just sending the Miz dancing out with copies of the movies in his hand.
Well, speaking of the Miz, that was the other big thing that happened this week. I'll probably that's the SmackDown thing, so I'll circle back to that in a minute. Um, the WWE is not completely 100% behind making Charlotte Flair the baddest bitch on the planet because she lost a 2-on-1 handicap match to the tag champions, the Kabuki Warriors.
Well, I mean that's good. We've been wanting Asuka to be taken more seriously for a while, or at
Mm-hmm.
least the Smarks gnashing of their teeth out there on Twitter. So I mean, it's nice to see that she's not just fucking dying.
Right.
I did see a GIF from that actually. I think Charlotte had Asuka in the figure 8,
Mm-hmm.
and then Kairi Sane hit a monster elbow
Yeah, the
from
insane
top
elbow,
rope.
as it's called.
That is one of my favorite goddamn moves.
Mm-hmm.
Kairi Sane gets some air and it's
Super,
pow. And I'd
yeah.
like to think every time she lands it, all the descendants of Macho Man Randy Savage suddenly go, ooh, yeah, and they don't know why.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
So yeah, it's very. I was excited to see that. Starcade didn't have anything that was spectacular that happened
I heard that,
storyline wise.
I heard that Rusev came out and, like, beat the shit out of
So
Bobby Lashley.
Rusev was supposed to, yeah, he was supposed to wrestle in the Last Man Standing match against Robbie Lashley, but the restraining order was an issue, and he ended up getting arrested at Starcade. And then the night
Mm-hmm.
after, or the Monday night after, he ended up coming out to, I think it was Nashville or wherever, yeah, Nashville. And the two detectives that Lana brought out to protect them ended up just like giving a blind eye to Rusev, and then arrested Lana and Lashley when they, you know, Lashley kind of did that thing where you shoulder push somebody out of the way,
Uh,
and then he got arrested, and Lana was like, "You can't arrest him. You're here to to protect us," and slapped him across the face. So they both got arrested.
okay. Well, great. That's stupid. I'm glad it's over.
No, it's not nearly over. Hopefully there's a TLC match where
Uh,
like the maybe I would like it to return to where they have a tables, ladders, and chairs match, a tables match, a ladders match, and a chairs match.
yes, we've noted that for the record forever.
And
Every time TLC comes out, yeah.
hopefully they're in one of those matches, and it's a good blow off match where someone wins definitively, and we're done.
Yeah, that'd be nice because this angle is stupid, and
Wouldn't
I,
it be
I, I,
nice?
I haven't run across anybody on the internet who likes it.
No, I
Now,
think people
granted,
were
the
like,
internet is
okay.
picky, but yeah.
There were people who were willing to give it time, and then they gave it time, and it didn't get better. So, time to kill it.
I still think this is Vince turning the screws on Lana and Rusev for having gotten themselves over.
I don't know, possibly. We'll find out.
It's like, oh, I've got to feed your wife to Bobby Lashley, one of my favorites. How do you like that? Well, I mean, I can't
I'm
stop you.
employed and I can be on TV,
Yeah.
so sure, I guess.
So yeah, that face Rusev made, whenever Lana called him a sex addict in that one particular promo, it seemed to be his resignation of the entire angle, his resigned acceptance.
Mhm.
He was
Like,
just
all
like,
right.
yes, oh no, you're cheating on me because I'm addicted to sex. What? I mean,
Yes.
the things like that
It's
do
too much
happen.
sex. I can't
People,
deal with it.
yeah. So I'm gonna go make out with Bobby Lashley in front of you. I mean, those things can be legit problems, and it is true that couples often cheat on each other when they have unresolved issues, and blah 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 blah.
I think I'm not
But
even sure. I think there was supposed to be more of an angle with the Mike and Maria Kanellis thing. But
I
then
think
Mike Kanellis asked for his release and I guess was granted it. He's been off TV for a while, so we'll find out. But Yeah, that ended up because Rusev was one of the baby daddies at one point, and I think they wanted to
Uh
maybe
huh.
push that a little further, and that would be the reason for Lana maybe running to the arms of Lashley or something like that. But then the Kanellis thing died out because the Kanellis were not excited about where they were moving. But where we're moving is WWE NXT, where it was announced that the Worlds Collide event will be returning.
Cool. What is that?
So last year it was a tournament at it might have been at Royal Rumble last year, where 205 Live versus NXT UK versus NXT. This year, since 205 Live is essentially part of NXT, it's just going to be NXT versus NXT UK.
Okay.
So it's basically going to be Survivor Series brand supremacy, but just for NXT.
Does is Rhea Ripley a part of NXT UK or?
I guess technically,
Okay.
but she, like Pete Dunne, is probably like more NXT than NXT UK. We'll find out. Maybe they do some sort of fun storyline where these people are like people are bidding for their talents from each show or something like that.
Okay.
I would say the other big thing that came out of that was the big boy Keith Lee ended
Oh
up
yeah, I saw him like rising from nowhere to glare at.
yes. He
That's a shot of a career right
yeah,
there.
he messed up Finn Balor. And I think next week there'll be a triple threat match between Tommaso Ciampa, Finn Balor, and Keith Lee. Trevor Lee is a different wrestler who is now wrestling as Cameron Grimes.
I imagine if you smashed Finn Balor and Tommaso Ciampa together, you'd get maybe like 75% of a Keith Lee.
I don't even know if
So
that's 75% of a Keith Lee. Remember, Finn Balor's a cruiserweight,
yeah, that is true.
but yeah. So they'll have a triple threat match, and the winner will face Adam Cole for the NXT title in 2 weeks. I think
I
there's a
imagine
there's
that
a bunch of championship matches in 2 weeks on
I,
NXT.
I imagine that everybody's going to come out of that looking particularly good, but I think Keith Lee's going to get a push there. I don't think he's going to win though.
Right. He's gonna
So
win this match, but not the title.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
I think that's the way here. That's the way it's gonna go here. And
because the NXT has their ear to the rail of uh opinion. God
well,
damn it.
NXT's
Yeah, they're
gotta
listening.
NXT's gotta push hard for those ratings because after 2 weeks of beating AEW for it, they slipped behind AEW this week.
Oh boy.
Yep, it was only like 6,000 people was the difference. It wasn't like the 300,000 it has been a couple of weeks, but
Oh,
AEW got it back. And let me tell you what the most importantest thing that happened on AEW was.
okay. Now, before you do, I
Mm-hmm.
want to point out that you mentioned, I think it was on our last show, that AEW was sort of up there in the rating, was down there in the ratings, but these were also like prior to Survivor Series shows and all this other
Right.
stuff. So
That and it included main roster talent that was coming down to NXT.
yeah.
But I think mission accomplished because they didn't lose as many people. So they weren't down to like the 300,000s or whatever that they had been at their lowest viewership for NXT.
Hmm.
Um, the biggest thing, and probably the best reason to watch AEW right now is La Champion, Chris Jericho.
Okay, so what did Le Champion do?
Well, he came out with a clipboard and said that he had put together a list of items,
Oh
and
boy, another list.
yes, except after the big poppy said, "No, no, no, you idiots! This isn't just any list. It is the Lexicon of Le Champion." Um,
Goodness.
and it was a list of people who he would not defend the title against. And it included 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 names, and like four of them were John Moxley.
Uh huh. That's funny.
Yes. So it was that was very. He ended up. He's going to have a title match against Jungle Boy of Jurassic Express next week.
Okay, that's gonna get interrupted or something.
No, I don't know. We'll find out. I mean, Luchasaurus and Marco Stunt will be chilling ringside, so we'll see how that ends up.
Be funny if Luchasaurus got to stomp all over Elite Champion.
I think maybe that might happen. I think people are hot for Luchasaurus, and if he had gotten this match, people would be woo woo woo. So maybe he does. Maybe he does end up, jumping in there, and there's some sort of interference that ends up putting Luchasaurus face to face with Chris Jericho and gives them a match at whatever the next thing is, Bash at the Beach or whatever the next AEW thingy is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the
Beach at
biggest
the
thing.
Bash.
Um,
Okay.
what's her face? Brandy Rhodes is trying to put over a new group, and there was the previous week. There was another new group added: the Bunny, the Butcher, and the Blade. So
The
there's a
Bunny,
bunch
the
of
Butcher, and the Blade.
yeah.
Interesting.
There's not only those. There's also the Dark Order. So there's kind of three kind of like horror slash dark groups forming in AEW.
Well, that's cool.
It is kind of cool. I'm not sure whether that's too many though.
Well, I mean, if we think about like the WWE,
Mm-hmm.
the scary wrestlers they have are Bray Wyatt. Uh,
Yeah.
um. Well, no. There's also kinda Aleister Black.
And probably Eric Rowan. He's still coming out with some sort of thing in a
Okay.
cage underneath the tarp, and anyone who's trying to look under the tarp into the cage has been mercilessly beaten by Eric Rowan in a fit of almost supernatural power.
Okay.
So I don't know. There's something. There might be something there. Who knows? We'll
Yeah.
have to find out
And
what it is. We'll
and
find out. It's like a little tiny gobbledygooker in there.
oh boy. No, it's past Thanksgiving. It's not going to be a little tiny. Is it a gobbledygooker or a gobbledygooker?
A gooker, I believe, is the
Gooker.
gooker. Gooker.
Okay.
Yes.
If you know the correct pronunciation, weigh in the comments.
5 points. 5 points to Gryffindor.
Yes. Or whatever particular house you're in. So
Five
we don't want
points to Gookerdor.
Gookerdor. Nobody would want to be in Gookerdor. It's like you're in Gookerdor. The
No,
child takes the
I
sorting
quit.
hat off and just jumps out of the window.
I quit.
And you know that
quit.
dining room has to be thousands of feet in the air because
Uh,
nothing in Hogwarts was safe.
no, not at all.
No, yeah.
So that's basically it for that. SmackDown, as we saw, there was the dog food incident, but
Mhm.
it looks like the new target of Bray Wyatt is The Miz.
Oh, good. Those two can work well together.
It'll be interesting.
Wait a minute, Bray Wyatt. I was crossing my wires. You said
Bray
I thought
Wyatt and The Miz.
no. I thought you said Daniel Bryant.
No, Daniel Bryan has been added to the wall of friends. So he is MIA, now part of the wall of people that Bray Wyatt has conquered.
You know, I think I've been asking for this matchup for a while. I've been saying stick Bray Wyatt with somebody who'd really be scared of him, like The
Mhm.
Miz, right?
Well,
So
we'll see
hopefully,
how scared he gets, because I mean, last week he came to Daniel Bryan and was like, "Listen, you have to take him out for all of us here before he gets too powerful," or something to that effect.
I
And
recall.
Daniel Bryan was
Yeah,
like, "Fuck you,"
bad
and
mouthing.
walked away. Um, but now what Bray Wyatt, showed a picture of the Miz and his family, his wife Maurice and the two children, and the Miz was like, "No," and he like he beelined, but it was like determined to beeline into the back, and he found a red room, and in the red room was a picture with Bray Wyatt standing behind the family, the same picture, but had Bray Wyatt like photoshopped in there, standing behind the family.
You know, that's a much better sort of way of quote unquote finding Bray Wyatt. I
Hmm.
don't want the Miz to actually charge into the Firefly Funhouse and burn it down.
Well, he's not gonna burn it down, but then Bray Wyatt assaulted the Miz while he was looking at the picture.
Bray Wyatt or the Fiend?
Bray Wyatt.
Okay.
Sweater Bray Wyatt, and this is not a TLC match. but they're going to have a match at TLC. Right now, it was supposed to be Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt for the Universal title at TLC.
Mm-hmm.
This match has not been, no stipulations have been named for it yet. So it's not a title match yet. It's not a T or an L, a C, or all of the above. It's just a match, and it's not The Fiend versus The Miz. Right now, it is Bray Wyatt versus The Miz.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. I saw that on the website, and I was like, Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt. It's not the Fiend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What the fuck is Bray Wyatt gonna come out and do?
Well, he's gonna come out in his sweater, and he's gonna do some muscle man dance for us. Oh my
Hmm.
goodness. That actually would be I think that would actually get super over if he came out like dressed in his muscle man workout attire
Yeah.
to do the match and then like stopped in the middle of the match to do the muscle man dance and just like and the goddamn puppets were there.
And
Like holy
I will
shit.
say that Bray Wyatt is probably also getting tired of coming out and wrestling in a face mask and contact
No,
lenses.
he's probably not getting tired of it. He might prefer not to do it, but I mean that shit is over. You don't get tired of that shit that's over.
Oh, when you say over, you mean over, not over, but
No,
over.
not
Okay.
not
I get
done, not finished.
Yes. Great. That was the word I was looking for, which
Yeah.
had been replaced entirely in my mind by over. So I was like, okay, over means over, but over means over.
Don't overthink it.
You got to stop me now.
I know. Stop.
uh,
Stop. Anyway,
okay.
so
So,
yep, that's what happened this week. So that kind of leads us into TLC. We got 3 matches announced, and that's one of them.
hmm
The other match that was announced was because of what happened on SmackDown this week in a fatal 4-way for the blue tag team championships. The Revival won their
oh,
match.
cool, great.
So they
That means
beat
I'm gonna
Heavy
keep it.
Machinery and some other guys, and so we're gonna have Revival versus New Day at TLC for the
Please,
blue tag team titles.
for the sake of the revival, I hope they get to retain it.
That they get to regain it, or
Yes.
yes, okay.
I mean, the New Day doesn't need it.
This could
The
probably
revival.
be a fine ladder match.
Oh, I'm certain. As long as ladders are within the revivals, no flips, just fists.
Oh yeah, they're not gonna flip off of them, but they will beat the crap out of you with them.
When you said beat the crap out of them, I imagine them just beating up the ladder,
Yes.
like some kind of weird Street Fighter
No, who
2.
knows? Maybe they do. Maybe they're like, listen, if we destroy all the ladders, no one can get up there. We'll
Oh, that's true.
we'll at the end of the match after we've
Well,
beaten
that would
the New
disadvantage
Day.
them because it will allow like Big E to just hurl Kofi up there, and the
Yes.
revival is not going to go flying through the air like
No.
that. So,
Well, maybe they'll pile the bodies of their fallen enemies down on the ground and stand on top of
okay.
them.
Well, now you got me there.
And then there's a third match, and for some reason I've already closed out of that window.
Ladies or dudes?
It is I believe it's a dudes match.
Okay. Baron Corbin versus Roman Reigns.
That is actually it. That was the third match.
Uh-huh.
And that is going to be the TLC match.
Okay. I'm sure it'll be fine, but I don't see this being a long lasting feud. I don't
Mhm.
give a shit about this feud, so I don't know. It's weird. I like Baron Corbin. I want him to do good things. I think he can do good things somehow, but
Right.
I don't know. Having him cover Roman Reigns and dog food and having him bring out a little dog, and it's like, oh, come on. This is like pure Vince McMahon. It's like, well, he thinks he's a big dog, huh? Well, why don't you cover him in dog food?
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, it's not like they brought out a rock and then crushed the rock with it. They never
Right.
did.
Well, I mean,
It's not like they brought out a rattlesnake and let it bite Stone Cold Steve Austin.
no, but he did bring out a beer truck and sprayed everybody down with it.
Oh, Stone Cold Steve Austin did that to
Yeah.
the audience.
No, to the bad guys.
Yeah, no, that is not a thing that would have happened to Stone Cold Steve Austin. He
No,
would have
Stone
just
Cold
absorbed
Steve
the beer
Austin got
and
sprayed down by a milk truck at the hands of Kurt Angle.
a milk truck.
Yes. He and Stephanie McMahon were sprayed the fuck down.
Oh, then Stone Cold Steve Austin
Mm-hmm.
sprayed down.
No. He and Stone Cold and Stephanie McMahon were in league together as part of the Alliance at this point.
Oh,
The
okay.
bad guy team that was made up of the WCW and the ECW.
It's always interesting to go back and look at how, I mean, this is a truism in wrestling, but allegiances facilitate. It doesn't matter what you are deep down inside. There's a while there that Stone Cold worked for Vince McMahon, so
Hmm. Yeah.
it's like he's a bad guy now. Oh, okay, that's all you gotta say.
Yep.
A true wrestling fan will understand it.
Bad guy. So yeah, that's that's what's there. I don't know what else is going to be on the show. I guess we'll get a couple more things announced on Raw.
Hmm?
Um, Looks like the U.S. title is going to be defended Mysterio versus AJ Styles on Raw. So we'll see if that actually happens and whether they need to push it forward to TLC. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see for TLC.
I'm certain it'll be a fantastic match.
Yeah, it'll probably be pretty good.
Yeah.
Here
Well,
is the other thing that I want to hit on
okay.
before we
Yeah.
roll on towards the end. The NXT is the only one who actually does this, but they have opened up voting for the 2019 NXT Year End Awards.
Okay.
So you can vote by hashtag NXT Award and then whatever the award is that you want it to be. So the first one here is Female Competitor of the Year, hashtag NXT Award Female.
Mhm.
Please limit your votes to one category nominee per tweet. So don't smash them all together in one tweet. Just be like whoever it is and NXT Award Female.
Shayna Baszler.
And that's at WWE.
WWE
Hold
dot
on.
UK dot
It
edu
actually doesn't
slash.
say. Oh, okay, so you don't have to. I guess you don't have to tweet it at anything, at anyone.
You could just hashtag it and
Yeah, you can. It looks like you can just hashtag it, and something will aggregate all the hashtags.
probably the WWE spiders.
Yeah, Spideru.
Spiders.
Um,
Um.
so I'm gonna give you some of them humans. Oh, and you're supposed to use the official hashtag. So,
Yeah.
um,
So if you hashtag and say like hashtag greatest NXT wrestler ever, and then you say at Kevin Owens, that's probably not gonna fly.
no, it's not gonna work because it's not gonna pick up Kevin Owens. You have to do hashtag Kevin Owens or hashtag whoever it is you're voting for.
They've made this too complicated. I'm just gonna say who I like on the podcast next week.
No, you're gonna say who you like on the podcast this week.
Oh shit! God damn it.
Yeah, take
Yes,
that
this week. Okay.
right now, right
uh,
now,
uh,
mother. All right, so here we go. NXT Female Awards. Here are your six
uh
wrestle peoples.
Shayna Baszler.
She is one of them. As is Io Shirai, Rhea
Mhm.
Ripley, Kaylee Ray, Toni Storm, and Bianca Belair.
Mhm. Shayna Baszler.
That's probably correct. I think
She's been
Ripley's gonna have.
consistently at the top, main eventing or at the top of the cards pretty much all year.
I think
So
Ripley's big push here at the end, the fact that she's super over right now, and the fact that she's
yeah,
gotten over on Shayna Baszler might might push her up towards their they
yeah.
do actual voting. But
I
I
think this might
agree
be the
that
end,
the most
but
important female competitor of the year for NXT across all brands is um, Shayna
Shayna
Baszler.
Baszler.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then for the dudes,
You can also vote on the WWE website.
Daha.
So if you go right to the awards there, you just take the poll, and they'll count your votes there.
Okay, the
So for the
Velveteen,
dudes, male competitor of the year.
Velveteen Dream.
Yes, he's one of them, though he hasn't wrestled in like 2 months.
Yeah.
Tommaso
Yeah.
Ciampa, Johnny Gargano,
Uh-huh.
Velveteen Dream, Adam Cole, Walter, and Tyler Bate.
It's probably going to be either Adam Cole or Johnny Gargano, because Tommaso Ciampa, love him as I do,
Mhm.
over as he is, he was gone for a little while,
Right.
and
Well,
Velveteen
both
Dream.
Velveteen Dream and
Yeah,
Tommaso Ciampa are out of action right now, I guess.
yeah.
So I think it's probably down to Walter or Adam Cole, and the
Well,
year
it's going
that
to be Adam
Adam
Cole.
Cole has had has been
Oh yeah,
monstrous.
yeah. And Walter, I keep forgetting who Walter is.
Now smash all of those people together, and
Uh,
that's the overall competitor of the year category.
Shayna Baszler.
So Shayna Baszler over Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah. Well, Adam Cole's had a fantastic year, but I don't know. I
That
don't
is
know.
a really tough one, actually.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know
think so.
who has been more important to the overall product.
Hmm. And
That's really tight. Yeah,
that's saying something for the both of them.
yeah. No, they're both very
You
talented
might give
performers.
Adam Cole an edge just because, as part of Undisputed Era, they eventually got all the titles.
Yeah,
But Shayna Baszler doesn't really have that kind of stable backing her up, so that makes her accomplishment even, more accomplishy. I mean, she's got some like MMA lady friends that follow her around, but
hmm
I feel like that's a recent development.
no, it's not a recent development, but it's not as like omnipresent as the Undisputed Era.
It's true.
Like those two ladies got attacked, and now they haven't really been on the show much. They haven't wrestled much. They don't so they're not as high profile as say the other
Yeah,
members of.
that's a shame. I liked the ranging one,
Mm-hmm. They're
whatever her name. But
yeah,
yeah, but I think Adam Cole's probably gonna win it because the stable he's in got all the gold, and you could say Adam Cole, baby,
Adam
but
Cole,
like,
baby.
yeah. But then Shayna Baszler's like Shayna Baszler. See
Boo!
you later. It's just
No, when you
that's
say Shayna Baszler is boo, that's her chant. Boo,
boo.
boo, which means she's doing her job and she's doing it well.
Well, yeah. No, no, no. I don't know,
Um,
man. I don't know. That's a tough
NXT
choice.
Tag Team of the Year. So this is all the different people who held Tag Team Gold this year.
Boy.
That's the Undisputed Era, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly.
You know they win.
The Street Profits,
Oh, they're pretty good, but no.
the Grizzled Young Vets,
Don't know them.
the original NXT Tag Team Champions,
Uh-huh.
um, and Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster,
Uh-huh.
the people who took titles off of them. They then lost them relatively quickly to Imperium. I think it took them. So those are the NXT UK title champions now, and the Viking Raiders.
I'd really like to give it to the Viking Raiders,
But I can't.
but
I'd have to give it to hashtag the War Raiders.
uh-huh. And that aside, still I think the Undisputed Era probably deserves it more there.
Yeah, I think the Undisputed Era is super over. Here's the
Mm.
toughest one: NXT Takeover of the Year.
I'd have to go back and watch all of them. I
I
can't.
think I'd have to go back and at least like read about them to try to remember what they were. Now, in here is also the two UK ones, Blackpool and Cardiff,
Hmm.
as well as the Phoenix, which was the Royal Rumble one. The WrestleMania one was
Hmm.
NXT New York. Um, NXT Takeover 25 was their mid-year one that doesn't have a show that goes with it. Takeover Toronto was the SummerSlam one, and then War Games, which just happened here in front of Survivor Series.
Yeah, War Games is freshest in my memory. I'm just inclined to vote for that right now.
Right. You'd
Though they've
really
all been
have to
good
look
all
back to
year.
double check because
So
we know that they've all been good, so we're probably forgetting one.
yeah.
Here's
The only downside is I think that this
oh,
particular War Games didn't completely and totally eclipse the quote unquote main roster pay per view, but partly because Survivor Series had NXT talent
right.
on it. So
And in terms of sheer athletic performance, the NXT pay-per-view is probably still better, but in terms of all the, just the spectacularness of everything, the Survivor Series held its own.
hmm
So the NXT award for Match of the Year is one that you'll have to go and take a look at because it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different
Oh wow,
matches.
yeah. There's not even enough time to lay them all out here.
And they're all pretty good. Um, let's see. I would probably go with one of the 2 out of 3 falls matches between Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole.
Hmm.
The 3 stages of hell match, or the 2 out of 3 falls for the championship match after the title was released, because that was Adam Cole filling in for Tommaso Ciampa, who was supposed to be in that match.
Hmm.
But there's still quite a few other ones that top, like the women's War Games is in there from this year. Bate versus Walter, which was a good match. Some other stuff in there too that's It's quite interesting. Even a Keith Lee versus Dominic Dijakovic's match, which was on NXT TV, but was a really high quality match. So, oh no, I think Gallus. Maybe did Gallus win that tag team title? It might be Gallus that won the tag team titles. Anyway, there's a couple of stables in NXT UK, and I can't keep them all straight right now. Then we have Rivalry of the Year. Gargano versus Cole. Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai. Rhea Ripley versus Shayna Baszler. British Strong Style versus Imperium. And Velveteen Dream versus Roderick Strong.
I don't know. I'd have to think about that, but knee-jerk reaction. Well, Rhea Ripley and Shayna Baszler is a relatively recent development. I think that Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano probably lasted longer, resulted in a larger number of good matches.
Yeah,
so.
It was bigger. The answer might be British Strong Style versus Imperium. The whole Walter versus Pete Dunne epic that went across several shows. It might be that one, but I'm not sure the volume of fans who have seen that and can appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm not among them.
So NXT Breakout Star of the Year.
Rhea Ripley.
She is on here. The first name is Keith Lee. Dominic Dijakovic, Matt Riddle, Candice LeRae, Damian Priest, Angel Garza, Joe Coffey, and Piper Niven.
Well, if we had to think about the entire year, Matt Riddle probably had more to do, bigger matches, bigger moments, compared to Keith Lee and Rhea Ripley, who seems to have gotten popular kind of here towards the end of the year. So,
yeah,
I might have to give it to Matt Riddle.
I think that's fair. I think it's been the impact that Keith Lee has had since coming out has been pretty huge, though.
Oh yeah, yeah. But whenever I'm presented with these kind of like best of the year awards, I deliberately try to take a step back and look at like terms of longevity and stuff like that. And it kind of does disadvantage people who sort of get pops right at the end. So,
and then the final category is Future Star of NXT. And that's Cameron Grimes, Kushida, Isaiah Swerve Scott, Tegan Knox, Dakota Kai, Xia Li, Taynara Conti, who I guess is going by Taynara and Taynara only right now, Bronson Reed, and Ilja Dragunov. I don't know. He's in the UK.
The only name I recognized there was Io Shirai.
Io Shirai is not on there, so I don't know why you recognize that.
So then who the fuck would it?
Dakota Kai.
Dakota Kai, yes, forgive me.
So I think it's down. I think it's between Dakota Kai and say Kushida, who had a big. He was a high level, highly thought about prospect, and has put together some good matches. He had an injury break in there too. There was the breakout tournament, which Isaiah Swerve Scott won, I believe. Either that or he was follow up to number 2 winner. So we'll see what happens. But that's you can vote now. On the website or through the Twitter. So take a look, figure it out, and let us know who you voted for.
Well, so now I guess it's time to finish out the show with our last segment, second to last segment. It's called the Hot Tag Hot Take. The way the Hot Tag Hot Take works is the hot tag, in case you're listening for the first time, this is whenever a tag team member's been getting beaten up, then they go tag their fresh opponent who runs in and just wrecks everybody. It's great. And if you don't know what a hot take is, well, the internet is there for you. The way it typically works is one of us will yell hot tag and hot take, and we get to talk about whatever we want related to wrestling, directly or tangentially, and the other person can't interrupt. So, I'll begin by saying hot tag, hot take. If you're on
you
Instagram...
just interrupted yourself.
I did. I'm just that good. I'm sorry. Nobody interrupts me but me. If you look on Instagram... WWE Games has an Instagram account. I know that they're getting shit for the latest 2K installment. Well deserved from the sounds of it. However, they had an ad up recently. They said, "Who's your dream Mitch Max Challenge combination?" And the 2 wrestlers they had there was Batista and Dana Brooke. So somebody's paying attention in the back office.
Yeah. So hot tag, hot take. There's a couple of things that have popped up in front of me here. One of the things I just they actually did the tribute to the troops, the 17th annual tribute to the troops. We'll eventually get to see that as a program here before the end of the year. But that's always fun. I'm glad that they do it. It's a good service to the troops, and they really enjoy it. So that's a lot of fun. Um, something that really popped out to me was that apparently there was a TLC match between Jerry the King Lawler and WWE champion The Miz one year on Raw at some point. Just like, what? That was nuts. So that's on the network if you want to find that. Right now it's on WWE.com, so you can watch the full match without having the network. But there's one other thing that I saw here, and I am not sure whether this is kayfabe official or unofficial or like real or what. But one news item here on the WWE.com website is that Rusev and Lana to officially divorce on Raw. So
Oh,
that's
come the fuck on.
that's theoretically, since it's gonna happen on Raw, I guess that's gonna be kayfabe. But like, yeah, we'll see how this goes. I think at this point, it's just time to finish this angle and this show.
Yeah. So, at the end of the show, we have something called the finishing move. It is a finishing move that I come up with based upon the topics of the show, the general flow of the conversation. It's something I come up with as the show goes on. I have no idea what it's going to be when the show starts, and at the end, I pull it out of my ass. So, today, that's not the name of the finishing move. Today, the name of the finishing move is called Over, Over, Over. And the way it works is it's a tag team finisher. First, you powerbomb the guy. Then, you don't let him go. You lift him up, and you powerbomb him again. But this time, you do one of those power bombs that looks like the last ride. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I guess, an elevated power bomb.
Yes, elevated power bomb, I believe, is the actual name for it.
And then you don't let him go. The third time, you pull him up, and your teammate comes in, and he helps squapow with the last power bomb. So you're over, over, over. And then you get the pin, and it's 1, 2, 3.
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, I'm glad that we didn't do the divorce as our finishing move.
The divorce.
Because
yeah, the tag team breaks up.
Because I would have been the one that walked out on that move, leaving you all by yourself to finish it and get the 1, 2, 3 and walk back into the locker room where you'll have me sitting there listening to our podcast. And you know where you can find that podcast? You can find it on markandsmark.podbean.com. Spotify, iTunes, Google Play Music, YouTube. You can find it on facebook.com/markandsmark. You can find our socials at, not our social security, just our social handles, at Mark and Smark on Twitter and Instagram. And you can also find our podcast as soon as it's uploaded on the Daily Smark website. So, for Matt Cooper, I am Jesse Disbro saying, get out of here. We don't want you anymore. No, really. Until next time, have a great day.
I was going to say that was a heel turn right at the end.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Ha 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 ha. Swerved, motherfuckers.